Hi, I'm Samantha and I am the librarian at Missoula College. This video combined with the handout you've received will give you an overview on how to use library resources to find information about topics for your nutrition assignments. I'm going to first of all tell you where to find the library's website since that's not immediately obvious. I'm going to tell you then how to use the library's basic search feature, or the search everything feature as we call it. And then I'll give you some tips and tricks to make using the library's resources a little bit more easy. The main benefit to using the library's resources is that we provide you with a selection of informational resources, books, articles, that sort of thing, that are focused on your topics and are produced by people who are qualified to express the opinions and data that they share. But to get to these things, it's a little less obvious than perhaps a web search would be. From the university's website, there is the my.umt.edu link in the upper right corner, which will lead you to a link for the library's website. Within Moodle, there's also a link to the library's website in the upper right. So you can also Google University of Montana Library and get there. That tends to be one of the bigger barriers, is finding the library's website. Once we've found it, the center search here with the picture behind it is the basic search, or the search everything feature as we call it, and you can type in what you're looking for, similar to Google. The one big difference is that spelling has to be correct. If you misspell something, it will tell you that there's no results found, and that can be frustrating, so definitely double check your spelling. I'll do an example search for South Beach diet and just click on search. And you'll see that we have about 4,000 things talking about the South Beach diet. And this will include everything from People magazine to cookbooks for the diet to scientific studies. Generally, for your assignment, you're going to want to focus on the more scientific and data-oriented things, and that would be what's found in this link here that says show only peer-reviewed journals. So that's an excellent one to click first off. Limit it just to researchers talking about various aspects of the diet from a scientific or medical perspective. It'll weed out anything talking about starlets losing weight after having babies, all that sort of thing. So once we've done that, we see that it's gone from 4,000 articles to 224. This center section works fairly familiarly for anyone who's done a lot of Google research. You just see something that looks interesting, you can click on it and read the entire article in most cases. Every once in a while this click won't work. It looks like it's going to work this time, thank heaven, but every once in a while it doesn't work, and that's a case where you could contact me with the information on your handout and let me know that there's some sort of problem. But you'll notice if you skim down that with this particular topic there's the occasional article about penguins, since the South Beach diet is also a phrase that refers to what penguins in Chile eat. These are not so useful to you. So if you go off to the left-hand side of this search here, unlike Google, this will give you lots of different ways to narrow things down. And subjects, the second cluster on the left-hand side, gives you a lot of options to both add terms to your search, like nutrition or obesity, but also if you click on more options, you can take things out like marine fish, fish meal replacement. The things that have to do with penguins can easily be winnowed out. Also on this left-hand side, there's a way to limit to a particular range of publication dates. The South Beach diet's been around since the 50s, but it could have been in favor at various times or fallen out of favor. If you just want to look at the last few years of research, maybe from 2010 to the present, that can give you a better idea of what current thinking on the topic might be. So if we just look at the last 4 years of information on South Beach diet. Taking out all the fish and penguin things, we get back 73 articles. Definitely a doable number to look at, and unlike Google, these are all going to be very scientifically oriented, looking at research. So we already talked about how you can click on the article to read the entire thing. If you wanted to figure out how to cite the article, there's information for that if you click on details underneath any of these and then send to. There's a way to cite articles very easily just by clicking on citation. You can copy and paste this into a Word document. You can also print or email articles to yourself fairly easily from this screen too. So that's the basic ins and outs of the library's Search Everything resource. You can put in a search similarly to Google, but mind your spelling. You can narrow things down with the options on the left-hand side of the screen, like subjects and dates. You can limit down to just peer-reviewed articles, the scholarly, research-based stuff. And you can use that details link to create citations. So, those are the strengths of this resource. Some other information in the library that might be useful to you is we've got books on these topics, especially at the Missoula College Library. If you click on all these X's, you'll get rid of these ways that we've altered this search and go back to our original search for South Beach diet. If we wanted to just see the books, on the left-hand side where it says content type, we can select that we want to see the books, and there will be a list of the resources we have. South Beach Diet Cookbook, South Beach Diet, Good Calories, Bad Calories. Some of them are online. If you click on this first one, for example, we've got both an audio version and an ebook version online that you could read right away, and the rest tend to be here at Missoula College. If you are an online-only student, there's ways that we can mail copies of books to you, and feel free to contact me with the information on that handout. Beyond books, and books are good because they give you a really general overview of the diet, not so much the specific scientific data experimentation that the articles might give you, but more of a general overview and description of the basic tenets of a diet. Other good resources for this you can find online freely. If you go to Google, you can look for something focusing on consumer health resources that you are familiar with, that are well regarded. So one that your instructor mentioned is the National Institute of Health. You can definitely search NIH right through Google here for South Beach diet and find resources and overviews. That'll be a little bit more general and less research specific. You can also look for places like the Mayo Clinic or other hospital related organizations. They'll tend to be more reliable than just a general Google search. So one final library resource is mentioned on your handout as a possibility, and that's a database called CINAHL. This focuses on health and nursing and allied health literatures. If you go to databases here and click on C for CINAHL, it is on this list about halfway down, CINAHL. This looks a little bit more like your standard library resource with a little tiered structure of search boxes. But it does focus completely on health literature. You won't have to worry about finding things about penguins or finding articles from People magazine if you use this one. It's a little bit less flexible than the initial search, but this is still a really good resource for finding information on various diets or nutritional topics. And it works in a similar manner. Type in a search, click on the results below, things to limit on the left-hand side. So those are the resources and some tips and tricks. Things to remember: how to find the library website through my.umt.edu or through Moodle. Spelling counts. If things are not coming up with good results for you, check your spelling. Also try using different wording. If you're doing something more general like childhood obesity, maybe think of different ways you could phrase that, like pediatric obesity or something like that. Use that peer-reviewed link to narrow down to scholarly resources, things that are written that are based in research and evidence. Change the years to look at the most recent publications, especially on topics that have been around for a while. You can use searches to narrow down to just books to get a good overview of a topic, or you can also use Google to find reliable resources like the Mayo Clinic or National Institute of Health to find a good overview. And finally, you can explore CINAHL, that nursing-related database, for really targeted results. If you have any problems or questions, please feel free to get in touch with me here at the Missoula College Library. Thanks.